This is Hannibal from thehannibaltv.com, and I'm with longtime wrestling photographer Mike Lano here at the 2019 Cauliflower Alley reunion. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Photographer for the clubs, since 86, 87. Wrestling magazine photographer since 66, but most importantly, Dick Beyer, Dr. X the Destroyer, was the heart and soul of Cauliflower Alley. He'd been coming pretty much nearly since club founder Mike Mazurki passed away. Dick Beyer, such a tragic loss. We all loved him, but here is a guy who set television records that will never be broken in Japan with Ricky Dozan helping Luthez and Freddie Blassie and the Duseks and the Sharps get wrestling going in Japan, which is now the greatest place in the world to have wrestling, the most sophisticated athletic pro wrestling. Dick Beyer was all part of that. And at the time, he was like the Kurt Angle of his period when he was main eventing all over the West Coast. This is a quality amateur wrestler. Dick Beyer had all the legit amateur creds and then brought it into wrestling. And Jules Strongbow and I think Hardy Krustkamp and Sander Szabo helped get the Destroyer gimmick with his first Wilma wife, going. He became the sensational, intelligent Destroyer, WWA World Champion, just set records again on television that will never be broken, where like 80% or more of the country of Japan, all those TV sets were turned on to watch those great matches. And then he had classics all over the world. Fred Blassie in the WWA, Bobo Brazil, Pedro Morales, all of these classic world champions. And then he recreated himself as Dr. X in the AWA, Vern Gagne's American Wrestling Association, where he set records all over again, both as a heel and a face, totally beloved around the world. The coverage his son Kurt showed me today and his daughter, the front of every single newspaper in Japan the day after he passed, full page color photos, and he means so much to Cauliflower Alley, and I just thought, I kind of begged you if we could honor Dick Beyer.
You didn't beg me. Come
on. I was asking you. We really should hopefully just pay some tribute to Triple D, Dick Beyer, Dr. X, the sensational, intelligent sensational Destroyer.
Well, I actually did interview Dick Beyer in one of the very first interviews I did for people that want to search that up on the Hannibal TV. And we're standing in front of Red Bastien, who was connected with this club for years. I remember I came in 2004 and I met him, but I know you're very well aware of him. You want to say anything about Red?
Well, Red Bastien was one of many. Dick Beyer had so many friends in the industry. I mean, everybody loved him. And Red Bastien was, again, one of our club presidents, who we were so proud of, but one of Dick Beyer's very closest friends with Red Lyons, Billy Red Lyons, and so many others. There is not a person in wrestling who did not love and respect Dick Beyer.
And what about superstar Billy Graham? He has a GoFundMe going right now. Has several issues, some skin cancer issues, heart issues, and serious hip issues. He can't stand on his own anymore. Any memories of him?
Oh, so many great memories. I mean, the first place he ever wrestled, Dr. Jerry Graham, they weren't related, legit, brought him into Los Angeles first. He still had black hair. Then, so I forget the story, how he ended up, I think Jerry referred him up to Calgary. Stu Hart broke him in. He came back, worked San Francisco and then Los Angeles. That's where the tie-dye came in and the threads and all of that stuff. And then he really finessed it in the AWA. Tri-WF, of course, is world champion, defeating Bruno Sammartino. It was 40 years ago today. It's been in all the newspapers. Yeah, it's hard to believe for an old fart like me, because I remember that 40 years today, Billy Graham became world champion. So Billy gave his body, so much else to this industry, and hopefully everybody should be out there helping. I mean, it would be nice if the big promotions took that on, but you see how great the fans are. And historians and everybody that loved Billy Graham is helping out and should continue to do so, I hope.
And what was your favorite match you witnessed in Mike LaBelle's territory there in LA? There were so many, but is there any you could pinpoint?
Well, my two home-based promotions were Los Angeles and San Francisco as the photographer for the program. But in LA, it had to have been the Outdoor Coliseum show, Tolis and Blassie on top. Greatest grudge match ever, and the second greatest, longest grudge feud ever, Bobo Brazil and the real fireball throwing Sheik was underneath that. that whole card was just amazing. So it wasn't any one match, but the greatest feud, the greatest matches in Los Angeles history for me, Tolis and Blassie, Freddie Blassie and John Tolis. Fred Blassie, beloved Los Angeles babyface.
And everyone loves hearing Sheik's stories of the original Fireball throwing Sheik, as you call him. I'm sure you must have some.
I managed a bunch of indies. Yeah, I managed him and Sabu early on, 91, 92 on the East Coast for the AWF promotion. If you're going to ask me a favorite Sheik story, he, without asking, he starts eating and destroying my $150 Nicole Miller fancy tie while we're cutting a promo on Hercules Ayala and TNT Savio Vega in the AWF. And then he throws a fireball into the announcer conducting the interview, Chris Cruz's face. Chris Cruz is now a newscaster for ABC Radio daily.
Okay.
So Sheik was another big part of Los Angeles. Dick Beyer, they were all very, very close, but I think fortunately Dick barely had to wrestle Sheik, who he was not fond of working with in the ring, but I think Sheik and Abby took on Giant Shohei Baba and Dick Beyer Destroyer a couple of times in some Champion Carnival tournaments.
Interesting. And what was your favorite match from the San Francisco territory? Another great one.
Oh, the Ray Stevens, Pat Patterson feud. You take any Ray Stevens, Pat Patterson match, they're all five-star classics. Ray Stevens, perhaps even better than Ric Flair, five-star wrestler. I mean, you didn't have to tell him anything. He didn't have to overbook a match or write up high spots. He just did it. Just knew what to do, could read the crowd, had the greatest psychology, and was a fantastic athlete. For a guy who barely worked out, just gave five-star matches his whole life.
And where can people look you up on social media? I'm sure you have some social media where you post your old photos.
No, I took them down because people were taking them and using them without permission. They could email me at WREALANO@AOL.com or listen to my show on CBS Radio, that's National Terrestrial or Sirius XM. And but everybody support wrestling. We're so excited. AEW is coming to Vegas. Those guys are doing incredible stuff. We've got Harry Smith, Bulldog, British Bulldog Jr. here, and he's part of that. And we're all jazzed.
Is he part of that?
Because yes, he is.
Okay, that's news to me.
Well, you know what? You might be right.
I think he's part of MLW. They should have a part of it for sure.
That's it. Well, that's if we're hoping that they reestablish connection with New Japan, since all of those guys, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, etc., Cody had left. Yeah, I'm speaking out of tune on that. So I'm hoping there'll be talent interplay, and I'm hoping we get to see Harry Smith on those AEW shows with more of the greatest wrestlers in the world, again from Japan, Okada, Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, so many fantastic wrestlers in Japan, which produces them just non-stop. So we're jazzed about AEW.
Yes, but that's going to be a tough one, the Ring of Honor New Japan deal. There'd be a little bit of a conflict there probably if AEW got involved.
That's true, and Ring of Honor, tremendous talent. They have that. That's a unique relationship. CMLL in Mexico, Ring of Honor in the U.S., and of course the British promotions. Oh man, the British promotions are sending so many great pieces of talent to New Japan, like Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. I would say England right now is producing, maybe right close to Japan, the greatest wrestlers on the planet right now are coming from the UK.
Interesting. And what do you think AEW is going to have to do? You've seen a lot of promotions rise and fall over the years. What's the number one thing that they're going to have to do to be a success?
I hate to say it. I think it still boils to, they were able to sell out All In with just word of mouth and internet stuff, no TV at all. So I think though the TV with Jim Ross, which I think is supposed to start maybe October, November, that's what you still kind of have to get that if you're going to compete potentially with Vince on some level. And I think they're going to be locked in. If you get the greatest announcer on the planet and you have television, you have it on a real major cable channel, and you've got all those incredibly talented athletes, I think that's, I won't say slam dunk, but they're going to be fantastic, and I hope for many years to come, because the boys need a promotion by and for the boys.
And I noticed Jerry Lawler's here. I saw him come in today. That'd be interesting if they brought him on board as well.
Boy. If you could somehow repair Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, that'd be amazing. And maybe throw in, some of the other guys that are more fluent on like Japanese and British wrestling and stuff like that. If you have a mix of great announcers, but I think if they've got the TV lined up, the money is there from that football NFL team. So,
what do you think of the theory that it's really this whole thing is just revenge on Vince for starting up the XFL?
No. I don't know. I mean, none of those outside of wrestling things ever really pan out. The XFL was a lot of fun. I got to cover it when they were in Oakland. But no, I just think the boys want their own promotion. Because why would you leave the world's greatest promotion, New Japan? I mean, that's.
I mean the owners of AEW, because he's also Jacksonville Jaguars owners. If that's a little bit
that's
of
a good plausible theory. I haven't thought about that, but it could very well be true. I don't know. We have to wait and see. I certainly don't want the XFL to fail. I'd love to see it succeed. They need more places to go to, these football players. They can't all go to Canada, to the CFL.
Yeah, take our jobs of our Canadian players, unfortunately.
You have to build one of Trump's ridiculous walls up there. Come on. Canada's our brothers, Mexico's our brothers, so we just need to appreciate each other and respect each other, and that should be in wrestling as well as football and politics.
Unless you're a heel, in which case you don't really need to respect anyone.
No respect. Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield, that song, No Respect. They should play that. That should be Trump's entrance music.
Any final thoughts here on this year's Cauliflower Alley 2019?
Fantastic job. We didn't know how this year would go, but more people, more surprises, all kinds of surprises. I hear Scarlett Bordeaux is coming with Kenny King and Melina, so many first-timers. Blue Meanie's here with Joel Gertner. It's Joel's first time. They gave a fantastic session. Dr. D. David Schultz killed. Fantastic seminar. Dory Funk Jr. tomorrow, Minnesota lecture. So this one is shaping up. I say it every year. This is the greatest year ever, and this could be as well.
Excellent. Well, thanks for talking to us, and enjoy the rest of the week.
どうもありがとうございました。